Nigga, we on worldwide television. Can you fight this nigga talking mad shit, man?
No, because you're a piece of shit.
I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua.
His second fight at heavyweight against a bona fide knockout.
The boxing world just witnessed something truly wild as Mike Tyson unleashed harsh criticism on Jake Paul after Anthony Joshua's dominant destruction shocked everyone, completely breaking Paul's attitude and exposing his confidence as empty hype, while the arena exploded with noise and Tyson's ruthless words left Paul humiliated, speechless, and looking like he never belonged on that level.
Onto the body with the right hand for Anthony Joshua. There's a big left now.
December 19, 2025 turned into a brutal reality check when Anthony Joshua stepped into the ring against Jake Paul, and by the end it was clear Paul wasn't just defeated but completely overwhelmed, with his jaw shattered, his ego crushed, and the crowd left stunned by what they had witnessed. As the arena filled with disbelief not only because of the intensity of the fight, but because Jake Paul's years of loud talk and online hype were finally exposed and torn apart by true world-class boxing skill. For years, Paul had built his image on empty threats and attention-grabbing antics, loudly claiming he could take down everyone from past legends to current champions. But once those final rounds unfolded, all that talk instantly meant nothing, and the moment became even more intense when Mike Tyson stormed in afterward, unleashing a ruthless verbal attack that ripped into the young showman and turned the night into something brutal, shocking, and impossible to forget.
Oh, the uppercut, and he took it! Jake Paul took it!
Before this moment, Jake Paul had carefully built an image of himself as fearless and unbeatable, endlessly boasting that he was the best fighter alive and insisting he could crush anyone who challenged him, with press conferences, social media posts, and viral clips filled with non-stop trash talk that openly disrespected true legends like Anthony Joshua and even Mike Tyson.
Oh, the right hand right! Oh!
Even if he does land his best shot at the moment, not that much is going to happen.
His promotional style was filled with bold promises, non-stop threats, and an annoying level of arrogance that he proudly showed off, always talking big, creating drama, and chasing attention while presenting himself as an unstoppable fighter who feared no one. But when it came time to prove those claims inside the ring, his real skills often told a very different and far less impressive story.
More for the sport of boxing in the past decade than myself, so I think if people really cared about boxing, they'd want me to.
Paul's entire confidence rested on something that never truly held up, with his biggest claim to legitimacy being that questionable win over Mike Tyson back in November 2024, a moment he repeatedly used as proof whenever his abilities were challenged, constantly reminding everyone that he wasn't just an internet personality but a real fighter who had beaten a living legend. Yet after Anthony Joshua's crushing knockout win over him tonight, Paul claimed that a brutal punch in the footage fractured his jaw, and now it's time to take a closer look at what really happened.
Two-time world champion.
Fast forward to December 19, 2025, when Anthony Joshua entered the ring, and from the very first bell it was clear this was no hype-filled show but a serious fight. With Joshua fully in control and every punch proving that real champions don't just talk, they absorb pressure, dish out damage, and finish the job. And by the middle rounds the toll on Jake Paul was impossible to miss as his jaw was badly broken and each clean hit stripped away the confidence he had built for years, turning his usual smug, arrogant look into one of pain and disbelief, as months of bold promises, disrespect toward legends, and guarantees of victory meant absolutely nothing against the harsh reality unfolding right in front of him.
Are lighting up, everyone wondering what the hell is happening, and Joshua continues to chop down Paul. Joshua, the Predator, counter right. There's the right hand.
I'm a very respectful guy, brought up by a good family, but if I can kill you, I will kill you. That's just how.
The crowd's reaction made the moment even more intense, with fans cheering Joshua on in awe and satisfaction as they watched a fighter who had built his image on words crumble under real skill, while social media exploded with clips of Paul getting dominated, exposing that all his trash talk couldn't withstand actual punishment, and the gap between his pre-fight boasting and the harsh reality in the ring was undeniable. This wasn't just a fight, it was hype meeting true talent and getting completely destroyed. This went far beyond just another loss for Paul. It was a defining moment that exposed his limits in the most public and humiliating way, but Joshua's win was only the start, because Mike Tyson, who had faced Paul before and knew exactly what he was dealing with, stormed in after the fight with unmatched energy and fury, cornering Paul and verbally tearing him apart, each word landing like a punch, leaving no escape for someone whose career was built on trash talk and controversy, and in minutes, all of Paul's excuses, claims of holding back, strategy talk, and past victories were obliterated, marking the exact moment his public persona died and proving to the boxing world one clear, brutal truth. He could talk all he wanted, but he couldn't fight.
And it almost, there's a left hook.
Mike Tyson didn't just stroll into the arena after Joshua's crushing win. He stormed in like an unstoppable force, instantly shifting the energy in the room, as fans who had just witnessed Jake Paul get his jaw shattered turned their full attention to Tyson, sensing something huge was about to happen, and with his glare full of rage and disbelief, the tension hit a breaking point the moment he got near Paul, making it clear this was no polite gesture or soft encouragement.
He looked angry up there. I've never seen him look so fired up. He was giving it the throat slashing gestures. He wants to hurt.
Tyson cornered Paul and unleashed a verbal onslaught that shredded all of Paul's hype, cutting through his tough guy act like a knife, roaring that you can talk big all you want, but when it counts, you crumble, and those words hit harder than any of Joshua's punches had minutes before. What made it even more savage was Tyson's authority. This wasn't a random fan yelling from the stands. He had faced Paul, taken his shots, and gone the distance. So every word carried real experience. Leaving. Paul, who had spent months trash-talking, mocking legends, and claiming he was unbeatable, looking like a child caught in a lie, as all his excuses and attempts to downplay the fight were shredded by Tyson's unforgiving glare and brutal truth right in front of the world.
That's just the mentality we have to have as fighters. I don't know if any other fighter thinks that way. Maybe they're a bit more tamed. But the things I watch and the way my mind works, when you're in that ring, it's a dangerous place to be and anything can happen. You hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you just...
The crowd's energy was off the charts, with some fans frozen in shock and others cheering in pure excitement, soaking in every second of Paul's public destruction, while cameras captured every flinch and backward step he took, making everyone in the arena feel the intensity firsthand. This wasn't just a verbal takedown, it was raw, undeniable truth. And social media erupted as clips of Tyson confronting Paul spread instantly with hashtags like #JakePaulDestroyed and #TysonUnleashed, turning the moment into more than a fight. It was Paul's entire ego being torn apart for the world to see.
I was thinking too, maybe Tank isn't used to being...
Paul's collapse was total, wobbly, bleeding, and utterly humiliated, with no way to save face or protect his pride, as every ounce of confidence he'd built online, every boast about defeating legends, and every viral moment mocking opponents crumbled in seconds. His usual excuses about taking it easy meant nothing, and combined with Tyson's savage words and Joshua's knockout, Paul was fully exposed as someone who could talk big but couldn't deliver, suffering huge mental damage as his arrogance-fueled internet persona was instantly destroyed, while fans and critics shared clips, mocked his meltdown, and celebrated the downfall of a fighter who had relied on words instead of skill.
Because Anthony Joshua is out there saying that he's gonna...
The stakes were obvious, with Anthony Joshua openly showing he meant business, and the opinions of legends like Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury made Paul's downfall even clearer, their brutally honest assessments proving that while he could talk and generate hype, he didn't fight like a true professional. Joshua's calm presence spoke volumes on its own, having completely dominated Paul in the ring while the so-called future of boxing crumbled in front of the entire world, Tyson's past experience. With Paul made his verbal takedown even more undeniable. When a legend like Mike Tyson exposes your bluff, there's no comeback, and in the eyes of the boxing world, Paul's reputation as a serious fighter was finished, reducing him to a sideshow whose mouth was bigger than his talent, proving that night that no amount of trash talk, manufactured drama, or social media fame can replace real skill, heart, and dedication. As Paul's entire empire of bragging, controversy, and self-promotion was completely destroyed. The brutal reality of true boxing couldn't have been clearer, and Tyson's role perfectly symbolized that honesty, showing that hype alone can't survive once the bell rings. December 19, 2025, became more than just a fight. It was a moment of undeniable truth, as Paul's reputation built on noise was shattered in the most savage way, leaving no doubt that while he could talk, fill arenas, promote fights, and rack up views, when the lights were on and real punches landed, he couldn't fight like a true champion, and with Tyson's ruthless verbal assault combined with Joshua's physical domination, it was impossible to argue otherwise, proving that words without skill are meaningless and fame without real talent vanishes instantly, making Paul's downfall a clear lesson in arrogance, overconfidence, and what happens when hype finally meets reality.